Howdy Neighbors, and welcome back to Fault Milestone One. Last time we found out how Sarah was actually created, which is the fact that nobody knows. Anyway, let's continue. Sarah. So that's how it is. I finally understand. You don't seem to quite grasp. This entire series of events has truly been bizarre. But Sarah is exactly, yes. Indeed. However, I absolutely do not want to see her dismantled. Something inside me tells me so. Tomorrow, her dismantlement will be decided upon. We must come up with a way to protect her from that after our meeting. Is that even possible? Isn't the board of directors or something going to determine by majority vote? If Rudo for some reason changes his mind, I'm sure the direction of the entire meeting will change as well. There are many members who don't really have an opinion and will simply go along with whatever he decides. Albus. Yes? Please, let me meet with Rudo. I was actually thinking the same thing. But I'm sure you'd already known that, right? Correct. Albus' suggestion. We perform a mind dive on Sarah. If we do that, then we could find out Sarah's real identity. However, when it came to Selphine's desire to perform mind dive, it's alright, Ratona. I'm sure he'll understand. Selphine had her own plan, which she had kept only to herself. Even I was unaware of what she had in mind. With only a lingering trace of doubt, we head over to Lab 9 where Rudo was. Chapter 7, Measure of a Girl. So this is a laboratory. I thought it was rather unsettling when we spotted it as we roamed around town. But it seems science doesn't mesh well with me. They cause me too much discomfort. Let's head inside. I feel like we need to talk about the fact that we're running out of time. For ourselves. I think that's a little more important. Who? Rudo. Albus. I believe you have a strict policy on not allowing any outsiders into the lab, do we not? This isn't the time for that. I have something important I need to discuss with you. Can not wait until tomorrow. I'm in the middle of putting together a presentation and report regarding Sarah's dismantlement. That's exactly what I'm trying to talk to you about. I want you to reconsider this matter. How desperately are you going to cling to that? Oh, to that thing. It ain't about time to let go, Albus. Regardless of what you do, the opinion of the board of directors is not going to change. Don't you have more important things to do? I didn't come here to change the opinion of any member of the board. I'm here to change yours. What? We want you to see Sarah's dismantlement. Now that's an interesting smile. Ha 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 ha. And here I was expecting you to say something else entirely. Rudo, these two people are monocrofters. This girl Selphine. She used a craft that allows people's consciousnesses to communicate directly. That craft gives her the ability to let people share memories directly with each other. Oh? Do you understand what that means, Rudo? With this, we can see all of Sarah's memories and find out who she truly is. Don't you see? The question of Sarah's identity will finally be solved. I don't see, Albus. Let us say, hypothetically, that Sid Spitz managed to use a rune as a model and implant her into Sarah. What purpose would it serve? For all we know, she may have inherited Rune's memories. How Sid accomplished it, I don't know. But it's no exaggeration to say that she may be Rune herself. Enough of the sorry excuses. And what would lead you to that conclusion in the first place? Regardless of the circumstances, there is no changing the fact that Sarah is a machine. It is nothing more than a prototype of her sister. An automation whose development caused vast amounts of Spitz Enterprise's own finances. The fact is that Sarah is an object. But still, if I may... Selphine had been quiet this entire time, but she suddenly speaks out. Whether or not she's a machine has nothing to do with this. The issue at hand is whether or not she is Sarah or Rune. Albus, Rudo, both of you have forgotten something crucial here. Something crucial? Yes. Which is what exactly? For starters, I'd like to propose my conclusion that she is Rune. How did you come to that conclusion? Simply based on what Sid had left, there is no other possible conclusion. There was no way that outsiders like you could have known what my father was thinking. But I do. Through our dive with Albus, we were able to see Sid's way of life, his entire existence. Sid did not just shut himself in the lab, losing his sanity to depression. I'm sure he did so to research a way to give your little sister, Rudo, a second chance at life. He created a heart for her missing emotions. For his own daughter, that so-called hellspawn, he used the path down. Path down? I see now. If there was a scientific equivalent to the path down, and that probably would be very likely. Transferring Rune's memory, that's exactly what the path down is. I did not notice this before. And if she has emotions, then this entire issue is not even something we should be discussing, regardless of whether she is Rune or Sarah. With dignity beaming from her eyes, Selphine speaks straight at us in a clear voice. It is wrong to deprive her of her will, as a being in possession of mind, heart, and spirit. Being a human or a machine has no bearing on the matter. I'm sure I'll remember this very moment, a long time from now. The moment when this sense of justice was able to penetrate, regardless of any country's borders. Nonsense. Rudo, perhaps you've realized it. That Sid created Sarah to give Rune the emotion she never had. Absolute nonsense. If so, then this would be a great precedence that could affect just how our definition of a human is. And if that is the case, then this is no longer a problem confined to just us. Spitz Enterprise has the right, no, the duty, to confront this ethical issue straight on. Enough nonsense from you. Sarah does not have a heart. Fine, let's just pretend that that was true. Even then, Sarah was able to completely cut its emotions off whenever it's ordered to do something. You can't say anything has a heart, or it could just turn its emotions on and off as easily as flipping a switch. And then I guess I'm not a human. None of you understand. The kind of being my sister was lurking behind her smile, her senseless, meaningless acts of evil. If Sarah has inherited Rune's memories and personality, then there couldn't be anything more dangerous. So many jump cuts. Still, if Sid succeeded in artificially creating emotions using mana, then... Enough of this foolish speculation. Why don't you use those theories of yours to write a novel or something? Now, if you'll excuse me, I have more pressing matters to attend to. Rudo. Confound it all, Rudo. We're not done here. Rudo. If Rune was reborn with emotions and with a heart, then would you be able to accept her as your own little sister? It has already come to the point where there is no clear-cut right or wrong answer. However, as someone who stands above everyone else, you have the right to make that decision. As if you know anything. Is this all? All that we could have done? The sun is rising. Ah! Fuck! Don't make that face, Sid. Your smile is much more wonderful. You should just smile like this. Heck, how could you smile at a time like this? Who knows? I'm not sure either. I'm sure it's because I just run out of tears to shed. Aline, I'm so sorry. Really. I've always been so caught up with work that not once did I ever do anything for the family. I brought this on all of a sudden. If only I'd been there for Rudo and Rune. If I spent more time with them than all of this. All this would never have happened. Due to my family and for my work. I'm just like my damn dad. Don't say that, Sid. It's not like you regret the things you've done. I don't want to see you all weak like this. I just don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do anymore. Damn it. Tell me, Sid. Rune's issues. Were they some kind of sickness? I've always thought to myself, if that girl had a heart, would she have lived a more normal life? I can't say for sure. Maybe that really was her real honest-to-goodness personality. And even if we managed to cure that flaw of Rune's, who knows what would change inside of her? I see. Like, does not having emotions really turn someone into that much of a mess? Does that mean that we're born selfish and arrogant and messed up, and emotions are just a way to stop us, to keep us all in check? Honestly, I think so. Because a lot of time, the only reason we don't do something is because of conscience. Those that care about how other people feel so they don't just go off. Heck, if I know. You're right. Hey Sid, could you tell me something? Do you hate Rune? Dunno. Hate ain't the right word for it. It's just that I feel so helpless and miserable. Well, if you ask me if I hated her or not, then I guess I might have. If it weren't for Rune, then our family'd still be whole. Or so I think. But that's a thought I can't really hold on to for long. I'm just left with nothing but feeling miserable, that's all. Tee-hee. What about you? At first, I didn't really feel anything. I was sitting daze. It's like my entire world was engulfed in a mist, and I lost sensation in my entire body. I had no words, no feelings, no thoughts. I could barely consider myself conscious. Nothingness. That's what it is. But as some time passed, I felt like I was attacked by deep nausea. Like I was going to throw up, while I had a piercing headache. It made me question why I was still even here at all. It made me hate the fact that I was even alive. I wanted to die. This living was painful, so painful. I'm sure I just didn't even know what to think. But you know what? It's strange. Even after all that pain and hardship and suffering that Rune made me go through, the more I thought about it, the more I realized I just couldn't come to hate Rune. I just wanted to talk with her one last time, to ask her what thoughts she had as she lived, to know what was going through her mind when she put an end to that short life of hers, and to simply ask for her forgiveness for not trying to understand her. I'm so sorry, Rune. I'm sorry you had someone like me for your mother. I just realized she's the anime side ponytail mom. Oh no. What the heck? Why are you apologizing like this? You didn't do a single thing wrong. Don't lie to me anymore, Sid. Everything you've done was always for the kids. You're a damn fine mother. No. The only one who I was thinking of was myself. After the Quaqualis incident, Rune finally settled down. I thought to myself that everything would go well. I could finally have a normal family life, was what I thought. But I think I already realized it. That something was just slightly off. It was ever so subtle. That the discomfort would go away in the blink of an eye. But if I ever once put that feeling into words, if I even once admitted that feeling, then our days of peace and quiet would all just shatter and fall apart. That's what I thought. I was so scared. Which is why I subconsciously pretended not to notice. I was simply chasing after an illusion, nothing more. A stupid illusion of a perfectly ideal family. In the end, the only person who I was thinking about was myself. It's on the past, Aline. You can only say that because all this happened. You lived your entire life with your family's happiness. I won't believe you for a second if you said you were only thinking about yourself. But the MRI results were right there. And more importantly, even Rudo told me about her. Rin's behaving strangely, he told me. And how did I respond? Be nicer to her. I spoke as if it weren't even my own problem. I didn't listen to a word of what Rudo had said. I was taking advantage of Rudo's kindness. He got his act together. I could just leave it all to him, I thought. That's how strong Rudo was. It left him to deal with Rune. All of his worries. Oh, my guy. He just bottled up inside of himself. Even though I'm sure it was painful for him. He did all that for my sake. Aline. I don't know what to think. Please don't leave Rudo alone, Sid. Yeah, I promise you. Liar. Take care of yourself, and ease up on that research of yours. Because once you're gone, Rudo really will be all alone. Rudo will never be alone, I promise you that. What I can remember is an interest in the outside world, and the frustration of the fact that I couldn't escape this island, the birdcage called the Outer Pole. Frustration, I think that's what it was. I thought everything was just so unfair, but I didn't know how to express that feeling. Everyone around me had something, an objective, that would drive them to continue their day-to-day lives. But me, I was completely empty. The first time I had experienced something akin to emotion was when I saw a bird twitching on the side of the road as a child. Perhaps it was attacked by another animal. Deep red blood seeped out of its neck as it convulsed. Eventually the bird stopped moving altogether. Some kind of feeling from deep within my chest desperately attempted to emerge. The onlookers voiced their pity for the bird. I said it was funny. Everyone stared at me with the strangest look. After seeing death right in front of my eyes, I wanted to see it again. I wanted to feel that feeling again. In hindsight, perhaps it really was pity. I wasn't even able to distinguish such a simple emotion. After observing the other people around me, I was able to mimic their own behavior. When I was a child, I was confined to the house. There were a few people who were always around. They were my mother and my brother. My mother had a weak constitution. Whenever she spoke, she was very energetic. Although her body was weak, her spirit was strong. She was a very warm person. I didn't know how to respond to that warmth of hers. There was nothing stranger and more alien to me than her unconditional love. I couldn't even begin to comprehend it. My brother, even though he spoke gently, he always had a scowl on his face. And it was well-deserved, because I was constantly causing him nothing but grief. Despite all that, he still worked hard, every single day at Svit's enterprise. Even though no one expected anything of him, he continued to diligently toil away, in the shadow of his little sister. He was constantly anxious, being compared to his father by everyone around him. Always afraid of having succeed his father, Sid Svitz, who was multi-talented, one in a million prodigy. The barrier he had to scale reached all the way to the heavens. It was impossible. Rudo himself knew this, and still chose to try to surmount it. He constantly aimed for the summit, not even knowing if he would ever make it to the top. I remember that upon seeing that brother of mine, within me arose a powerful desire to destroy it all. In hindsight, perhaps I looked up to him. for his persistence and grit to take on even the toughest challenges all by himself. All I could ever do was to mimic others. I was frantically trying to reconstruct a present, while on the other hand, my brother was fervent and single-minded in forging a path forward. I was so jealous of that. Looking back on all this, there really is just a hair's breadth of a difference between all kinds of emotions. I actually was driven by these strange alien things called emotions after all. But I'm the one who killed my mother. I'm the one who ruined my father. And I'm the one who caused my brother to suffer. Dad. Why did you bring me back to this world? Why did you bring me back here just so I could wallow in despair? Is all this my atonement? If only it had been slightly different, then I wouldn't have caused all these people to experience such pain and suffering. I've done so many things I could never take back. I've committed so many wrongs that even my death could not hope to absolve. I truly was a being that should never have been. But then what am I? Is the man I consider my father truly Sid's Fitz? Is the person that I truly it's the person who I had always stared emptily at truly my brother Rudo? Or my memories, Rune's memories? Rune is someone who should never have been born. But that means I should never have been born. My Sarah. If I am, then that means I'm only borrowing these memories from Rune. And if that's the case, then just what exactly is Sarah? Nothing makes sense anymore. There's one thing I know. I don't want to cause Rudo any more trouble. If he truly does find my existence contemptuous, then I would gladly die? Be destroyed? What? So what am I, really? If only I could have seen Miss Selphine and Miss Rotona once more. I wanted to tell them goodbye. Sarah, yes? Your dismantlement will be determined by a collective vote tomorrow. Return to Lab 9 and stand by there for the remainder of today. Head straight to Lab 9. Avoid informed Vothel and the others. Follow their orders. Understood. Master Rudo, thank you for everything. I believe I ordered you to switch off your emotions. I couldn't. I tried so many times, but it seems I don't have the permission to do so. If you couldn't, then why did you still follow my order? How could you abide by my illogical, preposterous orders without a single word of complaint? Because it's what you desired of me. Why? Why are you smiling? Because I'm happy. What? I've always been taking things away from you, but now I can finally give you something that you've always wanted. Something I've always wanted. The possibility of me becoming Rune will cease to exist. I thought about just running away so many times. I thought about my death, my destruction. But if I disobeyed your orders, then you would end up shouldering the responsibility of my actions. Finally the time has come that I am no longer needed. If you have emotions, do not feel fear. Aren't you afraid? I am afraid, very much so. I'm afraid that so afraid that I want to run away this very minute. But what I fear even more is that my existence would only serve to cause you even more pain. What? I know that you're a really nice, kind person. You were always watching out for your little sister. I'm sure that back then she didn't realize just how dearly you thought of her. But now, I'm sure she can understand. So much of Rune's memories have been restored inside of you. I do not know. As time passes, fragments of the memories are slowly coming back to me. But as for whether those are truly my memories, there's no way for me to tell. What? So what in the world are you? I don't know anymore. Not a single thing. But the thing that I do know. Rudo. I'm just a girl that admires you as my brother. But I don't even know what that means. Damn it. Rudo will never be alone, I promise you that. Damn it. Dad, you son of a bitch. Rune. Will you call me Rune? Is it okay? Is it okay if I could call you brother again? Do whatever you want. You mean it? Ugh. Brother, I'm so sorry. I forgot about the fact that she stabbed a kid in the eye. I just saw that like a flashback. Oh, my bad. I'm so sorry for everything. Rudo, there's a formula I've never once calculated right before my eyes. I don't think my processing could ever keep up with it. I think this is the source of the noise that's always been deep inside my heart. The emotions behind my destructive tendencies from before. My feelings for you as my brother. Why didn't I notice it sooner? This equation is so vast, I could just break down. Yet it's so exasperatingly simple. What do people call this feeling? At first, I wish that I'd never given birth to Rune. I wish I'd never left my hometown, moved to Cadia, and worked at Svitz. I wish I never met you. That I should have just stayed to look and took with the family business. I wish that I'd never have anything to do with the name Svitz. That a life like that would have been so much better. Whoops, I can't read. But you know, that's impossible. I'm glad to have you and Rudo and Rune. I love you all so madly from the bottom of my heart. So just thinking about it is depressing. A life without that girl. I couldn't possibly imagine that, even if I wouldn't end up like this. Aline. We've had our ups and downs, but I'm so glad I met you. I'm so glad I gave birth to Rudo. And even though the world may never forgive us for that, I'm so glad I gave birth to Rune. I'm so glad to have lived. Aline. I love you, Sid. It was a fun life. Aline. Everything's in your hands now. 3 lines of dots. Hello? I have a favor to ask you two. Would you take my little sister, Rune, along with your travels? She always wanted to travel the world. As you can see, she is a human. She isn't subject to mana shock. Rune can go whenever and wherever. I'm sure she'll be of use to you. Whether or not she's used to it is of no consequence. So of course, we'd be happy to have her come with us. Victory pose. Selfie. Oh yeah, I'm going now. She truly is a fascinating girl. It's hard for me to express the sentiment, but if I had to put it into words, just looking at her gives me peace of mind. With my position, I've had to handle a great deal of responsibility at a young age. I'm confident as a good judge character. Selphine has no hidden agenda, no ulterior motives. As if she understands her sense of justice so well that she doesn't need to contemplate before acting on it. and her strong sense of curiosity gives off a strange but attractive radiance about her. Decades ago, the man who founded Fifth Enterprise possessed the same radiance. Something which I do not have. Rudo. Rutona. What is it? Being called by my name all of a sudden feels rather off-putting. Take this with you. What is this? It's a device that uses technology to recreate that so-called Comcraft that you use. It's currently undergoing development. Using a certain wavelength in the mana stream called radio waves as a medium, it can be used to send messages and information. Is that even possible? So far do the capabilities of science extend. But as you see in the distance of our homeland is considerable. The burden of using mana to maintain a long-distance stream will have to fall onto one of the two parties, otherwise it will be cut. Rune is certainly out of the question, and you do not have your own internal mana as well, so how will it be maintained? We will use sediment. As long as we continue to provide a constant supply to maintain the line, then I suppose there should be no trouble. Well, I suppose. Constantly using purified mana every single day, and it's more valuable than even precious metals. Just how much of a financial strain would this be, I wonder? At the very least, certainly not something that any one individual could possibly afford. Oh, I see how it is now. Even though you're the leader of the company, would there be a problem with your board of directors if you were to use up that much money? Or would there be a problem? This is merely a field test for the new product's prototype. He answers nonchalantly, as he puts a smug smile on his face. If we could prove the effectiveness of this technology, then we could bypass the usage of boats and the postal system altogether. We'll be able to get in contact with other regions of the outer pole. The failed plans that my father and Albus had for market expansion will no longer be a dream once again. Furthermore, seeing as the company's unwanted baggage, which has caused us many a headache, has finally been disposed of, I state that there will be no issues whatsoever. Eloquently put. Seeing Rudo articulate with such life, such animation, I think to myself, since the dive, he seemed to me to be the type that never lets his guard down. Despite his age, there is no better word to describe this man than cunning. Besides, I'd rather not lose contact with my little sister. For just a moment. I see, you do have a point there. It seemed to me that Rudo's cold, sharp eyes had relaxed. Just a moment, if you please, Delphine. What is it? I just remembered something. Please wait here for just a moment. Something I need to tell Albus. Sure. Excuse me, Albus. What is it? ZV chick. I do have a bottle of this stuff, yeah. It's been 2 years since someone had me bring it in. And now I was saying just tossing the damn thing out. Didn't expect it to be yours, Mr. Fulster. Here you go. There's a note. Sup, Albus. If you're in this note, that means everything went perfectly. She got all sorts of questions. There's something I gotta tell you right now, Albus. I'm sorry. Sorry for not telling you anything. But it's something I had to do. I made a promise to Aline that I'd never let Rudo be alone. I'm sure you already had an inkling, but I didn't have much longer to live. But I had duty. Due to leave Rudo with family. What should I have done? Mana research was something I've been doing long before I had a family. I dedicated my entire life to it. How ironic. I get killed by the research I loved, while I threw aside what I should have protected most. And one day I remembered. It was something written down in a book I read a long time ago. A method used by royalty in the Interpol to pass their experiences and memories down to their descendants. It's a ceremony called the Path Down. The Path Down is a special kind of mana craft only royalty are able to use. But I thought to myself, as long as it uses mana, And there's got to be a way to recreate it using our science. For our research, I discovered 2 unknown properties of mana. 1. The purified mana of a human will remain inside the person long after its death. 2. In general, this mana can be subdivided into 3 types: memories, experiences, the 2 of which form emotions, all of which are saved in the mana. I decided to call this memory mana. When Minecraft was still in its infancy, people back then would mummify their royalty and stuff, right? This kind of practice might have been so they can keep the person's mana inside their body for as long as they possibly could. Well, whatever. Anyway, I succeeded in extracting the memory mana from Rune's body and transferred it into the body of his sister. I also managed to create a sister that would inherit Rune's mana essence perfectly. Then there was a problem with that plan. She didn't have any emotions, and she would turn out exactly like Rune had. There was no point in that. So I figured out a way to extract the emotions from my own memory mana. I decided to give the mannerisms that formed the emotions inside of me all to her. But there was a problem with that too. See, we're people from the outer pole. This is a cutoff that only royalty from the inner pole can use. I knew that if I tried to pull something like this off, my body couldn't handle it. If you extract a huge amount of mana from your body, you'll die from some kind of reverse mana shock, and that'd be that. But you see, I didn't really have much longer left in me anyway. So I decided Lab 9's protocol would be the trigger to my own version of the path down. Memory mana. And it's what people refer to as the soul. The machine that inherits one's memories, that carries the emotions. Just who would that be? No, to be more precise, what would that be? People will fear it. Probably get called a blasphemous heretic for toying around with the deceased. But you know what? Mana hides too many possibilities to imagine. It's filled with too many outcomes to understand. And as we humans continue our research into mana, I'm sure we'll encounter these problems. Beings that inherit memory mana, what exactly are they? Mana will likely only bring more of these ethical issues to light. I've set it as such that her emotion imitation mechanism can't be cut off from my own self. And I've deleted all the logs so that it can't be copied. Sorry, that's just my ego at work. I thought to myself, maybe it's too soon for the world to accept a being like her. But the fact that you're reading this memo means that wasn't entirely the case. I mean, at least there's one person in the world who's willing to accept her as family. Well, that's that. Stay well, Albus. P.S. From the moment I met you, you have always been family to me till the very end. No matter what happens, nothing's ever going to change that fact. That's how it's been, that's how it's going to be. But I suppose that isn't enough for how you feel. So I couldn't return your feelings. Oh, buddy. Even once his name is there, I can't go to this. It's just too damn obvious. It's alright, dude. Chapter 8, Onward Bound. I'm gonna go ahead and end this episode here. Damn. I do not need to feel things right now. So thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I will see you later.